Don't let the city break you down. It definitely has broken me down in so many ways, more than I thought was possible. But these are some of the ways that I try to stay smart and stay organized with my money. This is for the 20-something-year-old that just graduated college and doesn't know how to start a new life in New York. This is for the working mother that has 2 kids. This is for the people that are going through real life stuff. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mahua. I'm so excited to come back with part 2 of this video of 10 money mistakes I made in New York City when I first moved here, so you guys don't have to make the same mistake. If you guys don't know me, my name is Mahua. I'm a native New Yorker. I was born in Queens, New York, but then my family and I moved to Long Island, to the suburbs, for elementary and high school. I went to college in Manhattan, and then I moved out alone back to Queens, and I've been living in New York for almost 3 years by myself now. So in these past 3 years of me being in my early to mid 20s, of me navigating the city by myself, it's been a whirlwind, okay? I've made a lot of mistakes, I've learned a lot, and I'm happy to say I hopefully learned from my mistakes, and I definitely will not be making them anymore because some of them were very detrimental. So if you guys are in your teens, 20s, 30s, wherever you are, whatever age bracket you're in, I hope these tips are helpful and you guys learn from my mistakes so you don't have to make the same mistakes yourself. But as I mentioned in the last video, if you do fail in something, if you do fail in living here, that doesn't make you a failure in general. That just means you've tried your best, you've made your mistake, and now you're gonna grow from it, you know? So before we get started, please make sure to like and subscribe because it helps me so much as a small YouTuber. Make sure to also follow me on my Instagram and TikTok where I post every single day. You'll see a lot more short form content like this on those platforms. I also have a podcast, so you can check that out on all streaming platforms or on YouTube. It's called Difficult Dish. But let's get started on all of the money mistakes that I've made so that you don't have to make the same ones. So when I first moved out to New York City, one mistake that I made was paying full price for museums and events and things like that. Something that I didn't realize and something that you may not know of, you can get free entry to a lot of museums, galleries, events, and things like that if you have New York City library card. It can be the New York City Public Library card, the Brooklyn Library card, the Queens Library card. You might as well get all 3 because this gives you access to a lot of free events in New York because it's like a cultural pass basically. So you can also get entry into like the Brooklyn Botanical Garden, the Guggenheim Museum, the Met. You can get free entry or at least discounted prices, especially me who was a CUNY student. CUNY stands for City University of New York, so I used to get a lot of different passes to events and museums for free, which was such a great perk of being a student in New York. And obviously I'm still gonna milk that and I'm still gonna use my student pass even though I graduated now 2 years ago, which is wild. So if you do have a New York State ID or you're a part of like the city college system, or if you have the library passes, it really gives you access to a lot of different things that you would be paying a lot more money for. For example, the Met, if you aren't a New York resident, you might have to pay over like $20 for an adult ticket. But if you have like a New York resident ID or things like that, you can just pay as you wish, so it doesn't have to be as expensive. And it's a lot more affordable for people that live here, you know? Another mistake I made when I first moved here was grocery shopping at Target. Something that you don't realize is that a lot of these bigger name stores hike up their prices and they also don't have as many options. Your best bet to buy affordable groceries is Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, or even like your local bodega or supermarket because they have so many good things that you won't find at Target and like big name stores. Like they'll actually have like cultural foods and seasonings and things like that. Even the street vendors are such a good spot to get your fruits and veggies from as well. There's also an app that I discovered called Too Good To Go where basically these stores or restaurants that were going to throw out extra food, they just put that on the app where you can get the food discounted, you know, so there's less food waste from these stores and restaurants and you can get yummy food for a discounted price. And it's great because homelessness is such a big problem in New York, so this is an affordable way to get food and just be more economically conscious about your wallet and the environment. Hold on, let me get my coffee while I talk. Completely forgot that I had some coffee. The third mistake that I made, that's actually on the same vein of buying from these big corporations for your groceries, is supporting these big corporations instead of your local businesses when you are shopping or buying coffee and things like that. It is very easy to buy your coffee from Starbucks because there's a lot in the city. It's usually a lot more affordable. But honestly, the local businesses are what makes the city great and they run the city, right? Especially if you are a gentrifier. Okay, let's just put it straight. If you are a gentrifier coming into a neighborhood that is most mostly POC or small business owned, and you're still buying from like the big businesses and you aren't supporting these local businesses that really make the city great and have been there for years way before you, then you're kind of contributing to the problem, right? At the end of the day, you're supporting a local business that runs the city, you're contributing to your local environment, and you're supporting like the actual hardworking immigrants. There's a local Colombian coffee shop that I always go to now. It just makes me happy to support these like Colombian mothers and get some coffee from them that's like more homemade. And even going to like H Mart or going to my local Spanish grocery store, again, you find better seasonings, you find better food, sometimes even fresher, but you're also like putting your money into the right pocket. Another huge mistake that I made when I first moved out was not applying for the New York City housing lottery. So if you guys don't know, there are affordable rental and ownership opportunities across New York City where you can essentially get a chance to get affordable housing or have like a regulated rent within New York City. It's like essentially a lottery system. You put in your household income, you wait a couple of months to see if you got it or not. It's like chosen through a randomized system. The good thing about this is that you can continuously apply and maybe eventually after a few years you might get it, who knows. And I actually know people who have won this lottery where essentially their entire family is living in this luxury building and they're paying like a quarter of what the actual price is for these apartments, and it's such a cool initiative. So you can go on housingconnect.newyorkcity.gov and you can essentially see a list of rental properties or ownership properties that you can sign up for, put in all of your information. But this is a really cool chance for people to get more affordable housing. I know a lot of people have this idea of New York City being very expensive and unattainable, and they think that even if there is like a lottery out there for housing, it's for the extreme low income people or maybe even the homeless, but that is not the case. Another mistake that I made when I first moved to New York City is actually something that I learned pretty recently, is paying for rent on my debit card. So we know that rent is a big bulk of what you pay every single month. Also, let me know if you guys want a video on what I spend in a week or in a month of living in New York City. I'd love to make that. But rent is a big bulk of what you're paying in New York, right? And usually when you do pay rent with a credit card, there's a surcharge where you have to pay a percentage of your rent for the credit card fee. So I've been paying rent on my debit card, but at the end of the day, if you are using a debit card to pay such a big bulk of money, you aren't really getting any points, you're not really getting any benefit from it, right? So I recently got referred to use the Bilt credit card. I'll put my referral link in the link below. It's not sponsored, by the way, just in case you want to also get this credit card because it is life-changing. So this allows me to get credit card points on my rent payment, and there isn't a 3% surcharge, so I'm not really getting penalized for using a credit card on this huge payment. And this in turn essentially gives me like $200 plus every single month for like free travel points. So why would I not use that, you know? And I feel like small tips and tricks like this I never learned about when I first moved here, especially as a woman in my early 20s. I didn't really get the privilege of learning like financial literacy, and it's been such an eye-opener because it's like, how did I make these mistakes for such a long time? So yeah, me and you are learning for the first time that there are ways to use a credit card to your advantage and actually pay rent on a credit card without getting penalized. You're not dumb for not knowing. It's just society doesn't really teach you these things. Something else that I didn't know about and a mistake that I made was just taking the rent that I have and being happy with it. Did you know that you could negotiate rent? I didn't know that, okay? When I first moved out during the pandemic, I was just happy with what I got. I was like, okay, I have a good rent stabilized-ish apartment in a pretty good area with all of the amenities that I want, which is a laundry in the building and an elevator. Let me not be a hassle and try to negotiate rent because it's already a pretty affordable price. But did you know that you could actually negotiate it? Shocker, right? So essentially you can ask for a fair price on rent if you research the building and see that there are other units that have a lower rent price, or you can kind of research the neighborhood that you're in and see the average price of different units in that neighborhood. Or you can also look at older listings on StreetEasyApartments.com or whatever website you want to use and use that to your advantage and negotiate a better rent for that. Don't just take things at face value and just accept it. Fight for your rent, fight for yourself, because it's a hard and competitive city. Something else that I didn't take advantage of when I first moved out to New York City, and a mistake that I personally made, was not using my local library to my advantage. Now I know the perks, the beautiful perks of going to my local library. I go all the time now, and it's one of my favorite places. You get a library card for the New York Public Library, the Queens Public Library, Brooklyn Public Library, whatever it is. You get free access to all of these books that you can just borrow whenever you want, right? But on top of that, you know how sometimes we're like, oh my god, I don't want to go to a coffee shop, I don't want to go outside and do work because I'm gonna be spending hundreds of dollars just sitting at a coffee shop getting drinks just to exist, right? And so there aren't many third spaces in New York anymore. And if you guys don't know what a third space or a third place is, it's basically like a free spot where you can kind of hang out in. I feel like when I was younger, I had more accessible free spots that I could hang out with friends friends in without spending money. But now there aren't that many places anymore that you can just chill in. But a local library is perfect for that because it's quiet, you don't have to spend anything, you can just do your work in peace, you don't get kicked out randomly unless obviously it closes. And it's like an accessible spot that we have to keep alive, especially as a New Yorker. It's our responsibility to like keep it alive. And also your local library has so many free events. This is a great spot to make new friends in if you are brand new to the city. I just saw a website where they're hosting an event, a free event on how to create a small business. And also if you're a new parent, there are events where you can just go with your toddler, have them mingle, and you meet other parents. That's something that I grew up with when I lived in Queens, where my mom would just bring us to the local library and we just like have a field day. It was so much fun. So make sure to use your local libraries and put it to use. The next mistake that I made was not investing in high quality items because I was trying to save money. It is awesome to save money, but also pick and choose the right things to save money on. If you're trying to buy like cheaper kitchenware because you're trying to save money, maybe that's not the best thing to weasel out of spending money on, because kitchenware is forever and you have to have good supplies to cook in and like spend less money on outside food because you're using the kitchenware that you already have. So make sure to invest in like a good couch because your home is supposed to be your zen. I had a couch back in the day that I bought when I first moved out that was not comfortable, was very small, and I got it at an affordable price, but it didn't really last. So I had to end up getting another couch, which I could have just gotten a better couch from the beginning. So try to find some like good life investments where you don't have to keep buying the same item over and over, you know? That's why fast fashion is not a good thing. I always preach this. Buy things that maybe cost a little bit more money, but they're going to last you for a really long time. The next mistake I made was going out to constant dinners or getting drinks. I don't drink, by the way, but you know, a lot of my friends do. And hanging out with people like that, meeting up with people like that, instead of doing something more casual. So the social life in New York, as we know, is very big. You kind of have to hang out with a lot of people and network. You don't have to, but you know, it's like a thing to do it more here. Once you get into the city more and more, you have more friends that you want to meet up with. And I used to always go to really good restaurants and get food and chat with them, which was great and fun, but you spend a lot of money by doing those things. So my recommendation is to get a little coffee, make it more casual, hang out with them in like a softer way for your wallet, you know? Or my favorite thing is going to an activity date with them and doing some pottery or painting while also catching up with them. So there are a lot of affordable ways to hang out with people. I have so many videos on that if you guys do want to watch it. The last money mistake that I made, this is the last one for now, is not having automatic payments set up. When I first moved out, I didn't realize how many bills I had to start taking care of. You know, there's rent, student loans, there's phone bills, your electric bill, all your subscriptions and things like that. And it gets very hard and scary very quickly. And as someone that wasn't really used to that before moving out, it was very overwhelming at first. So I started falling behind on payments, and then I got more stressed because I was falling behind, and it's just like a never-ending cycle. So my recommendation is to have your automatic payments set up for everything. So my credit card bills are paid at the first of the month now. My rent is paid automatically now. I would recommend setting up like a budget sheet where you know all of the fixed prices of things that you have to pay for that are non-negotiables every single month, so you kind of know how much money goes out and how much money you have for yourself at the end of the month. I also have many videos on that if you guys want to see like a more budgeting and saving money video. But yeah, don't let the city break you down. It definitely has broken me down in so many ways, more than I thought was possible. But these are some of the ways that I try to like stay smart with my money and stay organized with my money. But as always, I hope this video is helpful. You know, it's only my hope and joy to make you guys feel inspired to move to New York and actually motivated to come here, and also comfortable to finally move here, you know? I feel like there are a lot of videos that we see where it's kind of inaccessible and it's showing a life that might not be the norm for a lot of people. So this is for the average person. This is for the 20-something-year-old that just graduated college and doesn't know how to start a new life in New York. This is for the working mother that has 2 kids. You know, this is for the people that are going through real life stuff. But if you guys like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. It helps me so much. Also, if you guys like this video, check out my Instagram and TikTok at labyrinthab, where I post every single day about just random stuff. We also have a podcast called Difficult Dish on all streaming platforms and on YouTube, where we just yap every single week. And I have my very own small business called labyrinthab.com, where I have my art and apparel that I sell, so you can also check that out if you would like to. But I love you guys so much, and I hope to see you next week. Bye!